Okay, happy Wednesday afternoon.
Voltare a destra.
Yes, dear. Welcome back to American Truck Simulator. This is David
Siamo
Steele.
arrivati a destinazione.
That's my
Alla prossima.
nearly colliding with a wall. That's my Italian co-driver. Actually, that's just the navigations. My Italian co-driver is not with me today. And let's take a load. We're probably going to have to do a night stop. In fact, I'm going through this parking lot way too quickly. There we go. There are my tyres. Oh, I could probably go out there that way. We're going to take a load into New Mexico today. It's going to be some, I think they're mahoosive Volvo tyres is how they're described. And I'm in my International LT. Let's have a quick external view today. So take a look at that. Slightly unusual specification for me. It's the medium wheelbase version. I've got the whole chrome wheel thing going on there. I've got the aero package on the back. Z-Mod's international sound effects, as you can hear. I'm using the 12-speed Eaton Endurant transmission that's stock, and the International A26 engine, or the Navistar 13 litre, I think it was described. Oops, that wasn't the smoothest. Let's connect up there. That's the baby engine of the range. That's the 410 horsepower model. I think it's 1450 foot-pounds. So, not the most powerful engine in the range by a long shot. Let's just give this a quick tug test. So, trailer brake on, bit of power. Yep, I think that works. There we go. Do I want to go out this way? I'm not sure. The International LT, I've talked about this a little before. It's one of those trucks that I would really like to like. Let's jump back in the cabin. And yet, it's never... It hasn't endeared itself to me like the Mac Anthem. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. It's just, I don't know quite what it is. It's supposed to be one of the most, if not the most, aerodynamic trucks available in the North American market. And International make something of... They did a fuel consumption comparison with various other trucks, and it was the best.
Voltare a destra.
It only just beat out the Freightliner Cascadia Freightliner. I said that wrong. Freightliner Cascadia, but it did beat it out. It was something like 2.5%, which is really not much to be sniffed at. That's slight sarcasm there. Anyway, so yeah, it's supposed to have amazing mileage. That's
Tenersi a destra e poi voltare
that's
a
great.
destra.
That's not been my experience of it. Whereas the Freightliners have done very well. Okay, so I'm gonna stop here. Okay, I'm gonna let's do something on my computer here. Not that you can see it. Do a little bit of that. Disconnect this cable. Okay. I did just acquire a web camera. It's not yet working, so you don't get to see my mugshot. Oh well, I know everyone's terribly disappointed by that. You don't really need to be terribly disappointed. I can go. Turn right to red. Feels like I'm cheating. Ha ha ha. Okay. Let's take it nice and tight. Is this a... No, man, I managed to not collide into the curb or the pavement there, the sidewalk. So yeah, I've not had the best luck with mileage on the LT. The Freightliners have generally been
Andare dritto.
relatively efficient for me, but not the LT. And it should have been. Maybe. International's gearing tends to be a little higher. This particular transmission's not that tall. We're cruising at sort of 1200 revs at 55 miles an hour, and I think some of the Freightliners are just over 1,000, and that seems to make a difference in the game's consumption. Let's just tell cruise to get me up to 45 and now 55. Oh, I guess we're going to merge. Wait for this vehicle. So I thought we were merging, but maybe not. thought that the 2-lane road was going down to 1 lane, but that seems to be not the case. So yeah, so I'm still getting up to 45 miles an hour. Let's take that back up to 55. So it's not the most powerful truck, and I didn't really expect it to be, but yeah, that might be why it's affecting fuel consumption. Spends a lot of time getting up to speed, perhaps. Who can say? Alright, so a quick check. Says it's 4 hours to go. Going to get there just after 8 tonight. It'll take me longer because I'm not doing 65 right now, which is the speed limit. And I've got 4 hours 46 before I have to take a break, so it gives me about an hour of leeway, give or take. You know what? I think I'm going to bump the speed up to 65. Let's wait till I'm going down a gradient. Oh, never mind. Let the speed bleed up down to 50. Yeah, I think I'll see if I can get there tonight in the time I've got. Let's just use the engine brake here. Actually, I'm going to have to use the service brakes. Yeah, brake a little firmer. There we go. So the LT is also available with an 11-speed Endurant transmission, and that has a 2.85 final drive, and it's a direct drive box. What does all that techno stuff mean? Well, it means that it has the same overall gearing as the very basic 10-speed available in, I think, every truck. Every standard truck, at least. But it has an extra gear, and when you look at the gearing, it's got a shorter first, which is good for getting those heavy loads moving. And
Andare dritto.
yes, dear. That's a nice transmission. I'm using the 12-speed Endurant because I want slightly taller gearing for cruising. But the Endurants have got a very nice set of ratios. Low enough to move off with a heavy load. Tall enough such that you're not going crazy if you're cruising at 65. I mean, sure, it's like 1450 RPM. It's not your 1200 RPM or your 1300s. So I guess you do see that in mileage. The 11 speed, you're doing 1550 at that kind of road speed. But it's not horrendous. I mean, if you wanted to do 80, you're going to notice a difference in consumption, but you will anyway. And this is interesting. This is construction work leading up to...
Tenersi a destra
Oh,
e
it's going
poi
under a bridge.
voltare a
Okay.
destra.
Gonna say I don't recall seeing something like this for a while. Anyway, another red light. Okay, I'm gonna be able to go here. Yeah, I am. Okay, so I'm not gonna give this full beans, but I've got a bit of a gradient, so let's give it a bit more power. There we go. Okay, not quite up to 20. Yeah, it needs to change down. It doesn't quite have enough grunt to handle the hills. And this is not the heavy cargo. This is 33,000 pounds. It's not what I would consider a heavy cargo. Okay, I'm going to tell Cruise to get rid of 65. We may need a calendar for this acceleration period, but it'll be okay. Of course, the whole while it's accelerating, it's kind of guzzling fuel. So anyway, I like the truck. I haven't seen the sort of fuel consumption that I really wanted to see from it. And the Mac Anthem seems to get better fuel consumption in the way that I drive it. And that also has a great 12-speed transmission. So this truck has got a fairly broad range of engines. It's got the Eaton Endurant that, I mean, is it as good as a M-Drive, the Mac M-Drive or the Volvo iShift? Maybe, at least in the game. Yeah, I'm still accelerating, but somehow it hasn't quite lived up to what I'd hoped. Of course, that's me speaking as trying to run a profitable business while making the economy difficult driver perspective. In terms of how the thing drives, I have another issue with it too. I'm going to put the headlights on, I think, and steer a little bit more left. Oh. And it's a little rolly. Let's just check I've got those lights on. Yep, I guess those lights are on. So it's not the most stable of trucks. It rolls quite a bit. It's a little top heavy. It'll roll over as well. And I sometimes drive more aggressively than I should. And the Kenworth W900 turns out it's a bit more forgiving than something like the LT. The International Lone Star's got the same issue as well. And I imagine maybe it's a heavy truck but fairly narrow, or just it's narrower than the W900. I'm not sure. Now I imagine in real life they're full of electronics that stop you from doing too numpty things, or from being too much of a numpty. Yeah, we don't get those yet in ATS. Maybe get ABS, but everything else. Anyway, I like the truck. It's just it wasn't the machine I kind of hoped it would be. But it's not a bad machine. How much space have we got behind me? Yeah, reasonable amount. Whoa. The auto stay doesn't work though, right? So let's see. I averaged 6.7 to the gallon so far. But I have done another trip with this on this tank of fuel, so that will make a difference. As for the sound, I kind of like the way that this thing sounds. This is the stock engine sound that we get from it, and the truck's compatible as standard with a few sound mods that I've got, a whole bunch actually, and that's great. But this is the standard A26, so it sounds okay. You know, I should just check the horns. I think that the Z-Mod sound pack's got some nice effect on the horns there. Let's go to this view. Yeah, I need some of those on my car. Might install the engine if I were to use them though. And maybe I should map them to a button on my controller, because the other day I made a video, somebody pulled out in front of me and I went to jam on the air horns and switched to map view. It was rather unfortunate. Anyhow, quick check on my progress. So only 2 hours away, yeah. I've lost a little time getting there now at 8:30, but that's because I'm not able to do 75, which is the speed limit along this road. So I expected to lose a bit of time. Well, and the hour changed, so okay. I guess there's a time change as you go into New Mexico. That would make sense. Or maybe the hour is changing it. There's a train on my left. I wonder how long this train is. I'm not going to look just yet, because I don't want to fall off the road. In fact, yes I will. That's pretty long. Whoa. Maybe this view will help. Where'd he go? Yep, that's a long train. Oh, I'm glad I stopped. That would have been, is that a Tahoe or a Suburban? Well, whatever it is, it would have been a little shorter. A little less long. Okay, well, I guess we get to get weighed. Let's bring the speed down. That was
Ok, cerchiamo un nuovo percorso.
reasons why you shouldn't necessarily look
Andare dritto.
behind yourself the whole time. Wonder what that gross weight is. So 33,069 pounds of cargo. Then obviously the truck and the trailer. So I'm going to guess about 80,000. Maybe a little bit less. 66. Is that all? Wow. I was well wrong there. Alright, well I'm going to press on. See if I can get to my destination by the time I have to take a break. And that train's going past me again. How long that is. There's an engine at the back, of course. Right. Let's tap resume back on cruise. So I do notice a bit of a frame rate dip when I see the long trains, and there's a mod. It comes from a mod, and they did warn, yes, you're going to see a frame drop. It's so worth it though. Right, time for a little sip of water. Let's just straighten up a little bit. That's better. So what's he doing? He's doing about 50, 55, I think. Anyway, so I enjoy, that's my first job, I enjoy how the game looks almost all of the time. I do all of the time. But at dusk, like right now, I think it's beautiful because the lighting levels, this is what it does in real life. You lose a bit of the colour gets kind of washed out. There's a bit of a haze appears, and the shadows lengthen. It can be quite hard to drive, but if you still have the sun, it can hide things. The eye can play tricks on you, and the game does. So I really do enjoy what they've done with it. And it's getting darker all the time. I can now see my lights on the road, which is probably accurate because the sun's kind of behind me. There's a lighted gas station sign on the right. I probably can't get to that. But maybe I can actually. Yes, okay, so I could get to that gas station if I was stopping. And I could stop and take a break, but I'm going to press on because I've only got an hour to go. And I have an hour and a half before I have to take a break, so we can do it. Well, we're going to do it. Now, if I could go quicker, I almost certainly would be going quicker at this point. But it's a World of Trucks mission, so I have a speed limiter of 65. But that suits the gearing as well. I mean, you wouldn't really want to cruise much more than 1500 RPM, I don't think. So, short of using a taller gearbox, which I could use, but not an Endurant and not a standard, I should add. Could mod my own, that's not a problem. Dashboard showing me 65 miles an hour, 1,430 miles till I run out of motion. I've done 5 cities, so that's a nearly 2,000 mile range on this fuel tank. That's not bad going. It's definitely getting dark now. Is that driving for 12 hours, 22 minutes, I think? That's how many engine hours that this truck's driven, 8,579. Some looks like oil temperature and volts, yeah. So great. Transmission oil level is okay. Yeah. I don't get to see much television, but I do recall, I think it was AT&T saying, maybe it was Honda saying, what if your brakes were just okay?
Tenersi a destra e poi
Oh, my exit. That's a little road of me.
Uscire a destra.
That's how you don't drive for efficiency. Let's switch back to this. So there's the international logo. Yeah, that's great. And then just my overall mileage. It's only 6.6. So it's dropped a little. That's what I mean by it's not the most efficient truck. I mean, we've not been driving that terribly. We've done 65, but is that so bad? I don't know. I get the feeling that the Anthem and the Freightliner tend to just do better. Still. Oh, maybe it's just one of those trucks that just prefers 55. I can't imagine that the game will model that, but excuse me. Here we are back at 55, so must be getting close to my destination. Oh, yeah, we are. 10 minutes. Alright, well, I like the transition from day to dusk to night, but suddenly it's now, it's night. There's still plenty of traffic. The speed limit's going to drop. Let's bring the speed down. It's a bit more of a built-up area right now, so...
Tenersi a destra e poi voltare a destra.
More of a service brake there. There we go. So it's right over there, which is good. So it's just off the road. I wonder if I dare do a difficult parking maneuver tonight. I don't think I'm going to want to, because everybody's watching me. We'll see.
Voltare a destra.
So let everyone know I'm going to turn right here. This semi's turning right, so would like to avoid running over the sidewalk for a change though, which is something I've managed actually in this truck. Okay, looks like it's all quiet. There's green Chimera opposite, but I think I'm going to be... What? Come on! That was a ticket for running a red light. I'm pretty sure it was, so I don't think I'm overtired. Anyway, that's because I pulled too far forward before turning right, but that was to avoid going over the sidewalk and squashing pedestrians, babies and things like that. Guess I should be... Yeah, guess I should be patient. Alright, let's see what kind of a parking... I don't think I want to do this, but we'll see. No, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that either. Alright, well that'll just about wrap it up for this trip then. I don't need to do any difficult parking maneuvers. I would like to say I've got nothing to prove, but that is clearly not the case. But there we go. So anyway, 243 miles and about 39 gallons. That's just over 6 to the gallon. That is a little disappointing. If I was buying this truck for efficiency, I'd be wanting to see 7 from a trip like this. And that's just based on time with the Mac Anthem, for instance. Still, I hope you enjoyed this. I certainly did. Click a like and you can follow me for more. Have a great day. Thank you so much for watching. Goodbye.